Good morning, fellowship. It is Sunday, and that means I am a day late, but better late than never. And wow, what a week it's been. I'd like to start off by acknowledging the tragedy in Boston. A number of us have done so, and I feel it important to do so as well. Very tragic times, and my heart goes out for all those families of the deceased and injured. And so that's been weighing heavy on my heart this week a little bit. And I just wanted to make sure I acknowledge that. Moving on to our topic of the week, where do we see education in the next 5 years or so? I've had a chance to reflect over all the other videos. We've got some great submissions this week. And looking at them, I've noticed a real theme going through all of them. The first one, there's actually two themes and kind of an underlying part as well. The first theme that I've noticed is really moving away from personalized education toward individualized education, and that's not something I'd thought about so much before. They've kind of all blended together, and even in the names they do. We've talked about this throughout the week as well. But clarifying in my mind, personalized education is getting students from wherever they are to the kind of same endpoint where we want them to be, whereas individualized education is getting students from wherever they are to wherever they need to be. And I've seen, I believe that's happening in education, and a slow process, but definitely something we're going to see a lot more of in the next 5 years. The second theme that I've seen happening throughout the videos that I also agree with is moving away from age-based classes. Now, in the traditional sense, having age-based classes based on the year you were born in, January to December that year. I understand where it makes sense, as in the creation of our system 200 years ago. Now, I don't necessarily see us moving away from that formally, but informally, absolutely. I see us moving toward multi-age grouping, multi-ability grouping, competency-based groupings, interest-based groupings, and those I see happening not so much formally in the class, but throughout the class and throughout communities as we move toward a community of learning type system that I really believe is happening, and I'm definitely trying to make happen in my classroom and in my school. Now, even if this community-based education or communities of learning aren't happening formally within the classroom and aren't being necessarily pushed by educators, I think that's happening anyways. I think students are doing that, and for example, I'd like to bring up the Fellowship of the Ning and the Ninglings, both groups of students who have got together, who are inspirations for this collab channel, actually, I believe. Is that right, Ben? That they are speaking together and talking about topics and not necessarily educational all the time, but sharing and building communities, and I really think that is the biggest part of educational reform that's happening. Either formally in the classroom or informally outside. We're community building, and we need to, and in light of Boston this week, communities are forming for one reason or another, and harnessing that in education is what we really need to do. So I've been following the Ninglings for a couple weeks now, and I had a very interesting conversation in the comments of a couple of the videos, and I said, is it creepy, honestly? Is it creepy for me, mid-30s, following your videos and commenting on you? I'm 20 years older. Is that creepy? Or is it part of the community that you're looking for? I said, I recognize, I understand that you're not doing this for an audience, and I've come across it, and I'm getting value out of this. Are you, or is that just kind of weird? And overwhelmingly, these youth, young adults, really embraced my participation in their community, saying, no, we're not doing this for an audience, we're doing it for ourselves, but having a broad audience communicating or collaborating through the channel in the discussions especially does bring value to it. So that's where we go back to the idea of the multi-age and interest-based. We share a similar interest through vlogging and online living, as well as being across different age. So there's a community that's forming, and has formed, and I'm on the periphery coming in, and that goes along with what I was thinking about, moving away from those age-based classrooms informally, and I'd like to see that happen more formally as well. So at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I saw an underlying driver of educational change, and I want to bring that up now, and that maybe obviously being that maybe obviously being technology. I think technology is really empowering us to be communicative. It's the cat this time. I believe that technology is allowing us to communicate far and wide and break out of our classrooms and break the mold of what communities typically have been. So I really think that's going to be a big driver in educational change as we move forward. I do think change is happening slowly, but I also think that we're experiencing more and more pockets of excellence, and as these communities build grassroots up. That's how communities build, right? They start small and get big. So right now we're lots of small, and I'm looking forward to those small merging together, forming big in meaningful ways, not just big for the sake of big. But I think it's going to happen. And so I'm looking forward to education as it moves forward, and seeing what changes do happen. I look forward to seeing what happens in the future. As Denise mentioned, she looked back over the last 5 years and there's been changes. My career's been kind of in turmoil, well, not turmoil, but bouncing around too much for me to notice a lot of the changes that have happened, but I really do look forward to seeing what happens in the future. I'm curious to hear your comments and thoughts in the comments below, and moving on to our next topic for next week. I'll see you on Monday.